Hey, good evening, team. It is time for our team call of the week, and I'm excited to bring to you a little bit about what I am learning from Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule. So, I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of this book. I actually had not heard of it until recently, and I am in a push or surge to summit group. And so, a lot of the coaches that are in that group are reading this book, and I thought, okay, great. So actually, I received it as a Success Club gift from my coach, so that worked out really great. But basically, in a nutshell, it's talking about the amount of effort that you put in towards reaching your goals. So I'm going to talk to you about the 10X rule in just like a little bits and pieces tonight, and we're going to talk about why it is vital to our every day going on with a business that you need to put in more effort than you probably thought that you did. So as I've had one-on-one calls with a lot of the coaches on our team, we're setting goals. We're deciding what are we going to do from here. Okay, this is where we are now. This is where we want to be. How are we going to get there? So I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started, I had to cover my challenge pack. That was the very first step that I had to do as a brand new coach. And several of you have been in that position or are in that position right now where you need to get 3 customers in order to cover the cost of your challenge pack. This was incredibly important to us and our family because I had to put my initial challenge pack on a credit card because of our financial situation. So in order to A, prove my husband wrong that I could actually do this, and B, to cover that card before it came in when the bill came due, I need to figure out how to work this business. So the very first thing that I did was actually take into account the training that my coach had in place for me. If you're a newer coach and you have never gone through our Hope Nation coach training, it is available to you, and I would suggest that you go through it. If you haven't gotten into that Facebook group, there is a link to the classroom where you can get started. There are 20 lessons. It's kind of designed so that you can do 1 lesson a day, Monday through Friday, and be done in 4 weeks, which is great. And it's just all the basics of what coach life is and how you can, start off with success and getting those first 3 challengers. So that is what I did. I basically took everything that my coach had told me to do, and I did it because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what else to do, so I just trusted her. And you know what? It worked. So there's a reason that we have coach training for you. There's a reason that the back office has so many tools for you to use. It's because we all want to see success. We all want you to be able to reach that next level, to reach your goals that you want to achieve. And so my goal as your upline coach or your coach's coach is to help us as a whole team to be able to reach those goals. So when I got started, I thought, okay, this isn't so hard. I have what we call a warm market. Warm market are the people that you already know, you, that trust you. So these are friends and family and colleagues and acquaintances. And you're going to find that you start with the people that you're closest to first. And then you're going to branch out to a little bit further, maybe your college, your sorority sisters, or your friends of friends. And then you're going to go out a little bit further, maybe extended family and people maybe you haven't talked to in a while, and you'll talk to them and see how they're doing. And then it's going to branch out further from that. And then you'll start to get referrals from your close friends and branch out to their friends. And it goes wider and wider. So you start with this warm market, these people that already know you. So, hey, Miss Kara. So when you do that, you're going to see how we can do this. All right. So when you have your warm market, then it gets to the point with a lot of coaches where they run out of their warm market, so to speak. And for me, it took about 3 months. That's pretty typical. It takes about 3 months to I don't know, run out of friends. It depends on how many friends you have on your social media to begin with. But nevertheless, there will be a point where you need to expand your market. And there are training tools on how to do that as well. So free groups like the one that I'm running currently or Kara's running, these are great ways to expand your market and talk to and meet new people. So, but when it goes into this, the whole point of this 10x rule is when you think about what your goals are and you think about the actions necessary to get to those goals, a lot of people underestimate what that is required to reach your goals. So a lot of times we will say, you need to talk to friend 3 people, talk to 3 people, invite 3 people to coaching opportunity or to the challenge group. So it's the power of 3. Every day. So if you invite 3 people every day, by the end of the month, it's about 90 to 100 people. So a lot of times the coaches will say you need 1 for every 10 will say yes. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I have had months where I've talked to 130 people and I didn't have 10 that said yes. So it really just depends on the month. There is no hard and fast rule, but what I want to tell you is that usually people underestimate the effort that's required to reach their goals. So we would be benefiting ourselves if we would think on the other end of the spectrum. So instead of saying, I'm going to do the bare minimum to try to hit Success Club this month and try to help 3 people, I'm going to go above and beyond and 10x it. So if that means, originally you were going to talk to 10 people to get a yes, you're going to talk to 100 people. You're just going to 10x it. You're going to talk to more people. You're going to set your goals higher than you expected in the first place. And you're going to see that not only do you hit your original goals that you might have had, but you're going above and beyond and you're growing your business and you're seeing more success. So one of the things that he talks about in this chapter on why the rule is vital, it's because when you look at successful people, none of them have been doing the bare minimum. They've always been going above and beyond. And we talked about this a little bit in the post this morning of, well, there's this issue of time, right? So we're going to have to get a little creative because I don't think anybody that is in our coach team page is just twiddling their thumbs and have absolutely nothing to do during the day. I don't think anybody is working Beachbody 24/7. So we need to find out, how do we use the time that we have set aside for our business, whatever that is for you, and maximize it and 10x the time that we have. It's not using more time, but being more efficient with the time that we have. So it's not, okay, so hang on a second. All right. One of the things that I wanted to cover is that it is not enough to occupy a territory. You have to be able to keep it. This is one of the things that I underlined in this book. So when I started, I had my 3 people in my first week because I was determined that I was going to make this work. Did all 3 of those people stay on forever? Absolutely not. That's just not how the human body works. Like, we just don't automatically stick with something from the beginning. So for all the people that you do find to help, not all of them are going to stay with it. So it's not enough to reach your goal. You actually have to continue moving forward towards that bigger goal because you've never arrived. Successful people never get to a point where they're just like, okay, I'm done. I've hit my goal. I'm going to stop now. No. And I think about that a lot when I'm on different calls with Melanie Mitra, who's a top coach. I mean, she's been top coach 3 years in a row. Is she stopping working? No, she's probably working even harder now. And it's because it's not enough to occupy a territory. It's not enough to just hit your goal and back off. You have to be able to keep it. And because of how human nature is, and people fall off the bandwagon, and people are going to, be rock star coaches and decide to quit the business, and stuff happens, you have to be able to keep what you have achieved by continuing to move forward. So a lot of times people will start in the business, and after 3 months, after they get that warm market out of the way, they quit. Well, it just didn't work. I've been in this for 3 months. It didn't work. I expected to be able to make X amount of dollars, so I'm just going to move on to something else. Well, in actuality, I don't know that any successful coach has just worked for 3 months and said that's it. They might have had good success in the beginning, but in order to keep it and to continue to grow, they had to keep working. So, it's a lot of resistance. It's a lot of disappointment from time to time. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it anymore. There's no way to like tell you this is all going to be perfect and roses. It's not. But when you do work that matters, it's okay. When you are passionate about what you do, yes, there's going to be disappointments, but your passion and the reason that you're doing it in the first place is going to override that. And you're going to see those good things. And I know for me, and I'm sure there's many of you out there that can attest to the same thing. You might be having a bad day, or you might have somebody that falls off or stops their Shakeology or decides this isn't for them or quits as a coach or whatever. And in the same day, you might have 3 people that said, thank you. Thank you for running these challenge groups. Thank you. Because of you, I'm off my medication, or my husband has lost weight, or we just feel so much better. And for me, the ultimate is when someone can tell me that they are growing spiritually through what we do. So, those are the things that keep me going, because I know there's going to be disappointments and setbacks, but those things that come up that God allows to say, hey, look, you are doing something that matters. It's important. It's important that you keep going. So, don't stop just because you think that it's going to take this amount of time to reach this goal. If you don't hit it in that time, it's okay. Don't stop. It doesn't mean you're not going to hit it. It means maybe not in that time frame. So if this is going to work, it's going to be based on increasing efforts, not excuses. So those people that fall off, what do they give us? They give us excuses, right? As challengers, as coaches, they give excuses of why it didn't work or why they can't keep themselves motivated or whatever it is. And it's excuses. So we're not going to give into these excuses. We're going to maximize effort. So like I said, this is the tricky part in fixing it into a certain amount of time. But one of the things that I did today, and maybe this would be helpful too, is turning off my notifications. And I had done this before on with my Facebook app, but when I have this problem on my phone, and you probably can't see it right now, but when I get these little red things that tell me this is 2 missed calls, I guess, but when I see these little red notifications, it gives me anxiety. Like I have to know what it is that I'm missing. I'm missing something, right? And so I stop what I'm doing. I stop my invites. I stop my blogging. I stop whatever it is that I'm doing to check this. Why? I don't need to. Okay, so it's crowding in on my productivity time. I'm wasting time, and I'm not 10xing my business. So today I turn off my notifications, clearly not for that phone, but for my messenger. I had turned them off on Facebook a while back, but I kept the messenger ones because I figured if somebody is messaging me, then that is important. No, I can keep that in a certain time frame during the day that I'm going to check messages. But during my miracle morning, no, not doing it anymore. I was wasting time on my miracle morning because notifications were popping up. So cut those off. Get focused in your time, and I'm saying this for myself just as much as anybody else, because we have work to do, and if we're going to hit our goals and go beyond and see success, then we need to buckle down and get serious about the time that we have available, because it may not be there. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know if somebody's going to get sick. We don't know if the dog's going to throw up or whatever. Like, stuff happens. So you need to maximize the time that you do have, because you don't know if like that nap time is actually going to work today. So get up early and do it in the morning. So that is another tip that I have for you, is eat that frog. I don't know if you've ever read the book. I honestly have not read it, but it's on my list. It is by Brian Tracy, and it's all about time management and getting those things that you hate to do, those hard things to do, getting those done first and out of the way. So when I was working and I was leaving the house at sometimes 5 in the morning to go to work, I had to get up super early and get my workout done, because if I didn't, it wasn't going to get done. By the time I got home, I was exhausted and it wasn't going to happen. So that was priority. You know what else was priority at first thing in the morning? Invites. because I hated invites. Something in my head said, this isn't fun. So I made sure that I did them before I left the house, because if I didn't, I would keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And what is the whole basis of this business is relationships. And if I don't start connecting with people, then I'm going to have no one in my funnel, nobody in the pipeline that I can help. So eat that frog. Whatever that time frame is that you have to work with to 10x your business, make sure that the first one of the day is when you tackle those things that are hardest for you to do. Maybe not actually physically hard. Okay, it's really not hard to start conversations. But it might be the thing that you really don't want to do. Maybe it is your workout. Maybe it's meal planning. Maybe, I don't know what it is for you, but that thing that is what you keep putting off because you don't want to do it first. And that's going to help maximize your time. Because then you know that even if something else pops up throughout the day, even if something else happens, you have the most important activities done first. So that is a huge part of my miracle morning, is making sure that I get that personal development done first thing in the morning. It sets my mind right for where I need to be for my business, for my family. But having personal development and affirmations and visualization, and when all of that stuff is done and my journaling, I exercise right after that. Because exercise I can do when my daughter's up. Like, that's not a big deal. I don't have to have super focus. I can have her playing in the background. It's not a big deal. But I have to have focus to read or to journal or to do those other things. So, having that as part of my morning routine has been incredibly beneficial, because otherwise reading was not going to get done unless I made it part of that morning routine. Basically, what people have found is that the first thing, whenever somebody does not hit a goal, they tend to reduce the target. So I don't know if you guys have ever done that. I have. Where you say, I'm going to hit Success Club, whatever. Let's say I'm going to hit Success Club 10. And that's my goal for this month. I'm going to help 5 people this month. And then when it comes down to the 25th of the month and you're at Success Club 6, you're like, that's okay. I'm just going to reduce my target. I'm going to say that's good enough. And Success Club 6 is great. That's awesome. And it's hitting one of the benchmarks in the business. Yes, but your original goal was Success Club 10. And you still have 5 or 6 days left of the month. So this is what a lot of people will do, is they will justify that this is good enough, that it doesn't matter, and they reduce the target instead of increasing the effort. I've come to find out that unless the stakes are incredibly high, I'm apt to do this just as much as anyone else. I will set my goals super high every month, and if I don't achieve them, then I'm like, at least I hit whatever the minimum was. Well, unless it is something where, the stakes are super high. I had a leadership retreat, and unless I hit, I don't remember what the astronomical goal was, but I had said that was the goal I wanted, and I was held to it. If I did not reach the goal, I did not go on the leadership retreat. And so my goal was then put out in front of me tied to something that was important, and I made it happen. So down to the wire on the last night of the month, I was still working hard and still pushing because it mattered. So find out what it is that matters to you. You have to realize why you're doing this business and why you're coaching and why your goals matter. And if you don't have any goals, then my guess is you're probably not going to be helping a whole lot of people. You're not going to be making a whole lot of income. And that's, we talk about this in the Knockout Brigade all the time about you can't make an income without making an impact. We are impacting lives in what we do, and it's incredibly important. The mission of the company is to end the trend of obesity and helping people live healthy and fulfilling lives. So this is big stuff. You got to buy into that, and if you don't, then it's going to be easy to take your foot off the gas. So instead of reducing our target, let's increase our effort. If we increase our activity, if we say, you know what, I'm not going down like that. I'm going to hit my goal, whether it takes, talking to 10 more people or 50 more people, I'm going to hit my goal because I know that it matters. I know that one more person needs my help. One more person can have their life changed if I would just send out a few more invites and let them know that this opportunity is available to them. That's the thing. There are so many people out there that have never even heard of Beachbody or 21 Day Fix or any of these things that we have going now. It's ridiculous. Like, everybody thinks the market's so saturated, and I hear coaches all the time saying that they run into people that have never heard of this. This is a solution for people. We have a solution. So it's our job to invite people so that they can have the solution too. So really, we're being selfish if we don't give the opportunity to people to change their lives. So when you, instead of, reducing your target, increase your actions. And when you start rethinking your target and making up excuses and letting yourself off the hook, you're giving up on your dreams. You got to have something that's big. And I've talked to you guys on calls before about what my big dreams are, about helping other families with adoption grants. That takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of work. And I don't know when it's going to happen. I have a date kind of set in my mind of when that's going to be, but that's important to me, and it drives me that I'm going to keep going. So any target that is attached with the right actions and the right amount of persistence is attainable. Do you hear that? Any target that is attached with the right actions in the right amounts with persistence is attainable. So it doesn't really matter what your goal is, even if it seems ridiculous and outlandish to most other people. You can achieve it with the right actions in the right amounts with persistence, never giving up. So, maybe that is this is the way I see it for myself. I fail in a lot of ways. I am not perfect at all, and I have a lot of things that I need to work on, but I'm never going to give up. And that's the one thing that I have going for me above all else is persistence. So even if I'm not where I want to be yet in the time frame that I wanted to be, it's okay, because I feel like God has put on my heart what He has for me to do, and working through health and fitness to build His kingdom, and that's important to me, so I'm never giving up. And you know what? When it's not that our targets are unrealistic, it's usually that you just haven't correctly assessed the amount of action that's necessary. Your target isn't off. It's just we don't really understand how much work it takes to reach that goal. And it's true for me. I when I was a first year in coaching, I said, you know what? I hit diamond really quick, so I'm going to be 2-star in like 2 months. But I didn't realize the work that goes into that. I didn't understand, the recruiting that has to take place and having people that buy into, what we're doing as coaches and helping other people. And it doesn't happen right off the bat usually. And I didn't understand that. So I had set this lofty goal that wasn't necessarily, it would take more action steps than the time that I had. So it wasn't necessarily that it was a bad goal. It just means that I didn't correctly assess the amount of time and action that would be necessary to achieve that goal. So regardless of the timing and the economy and the product and how big your venture is, the right acts done to the right degree over time will make you successful. So don't give up. It's going to take time. Consistency over time is always the key to success. So assume that every project you attempt will take more time, more money, more energy, more effort, and more people than you can imagine. Start thinking about it that way. Instead of saying that it's going to take talking to 3 people every day to hit Success Club, assume more. It's going to take 10 people every day. Assume more. What happens if you do that? Nothing negative is going to come out of assuming that it takes more people than that. Assume that it'll take more time, that it'll take more energy, more effort. These are things that, we want to kind of slide by sometimes. But it takes more than you think. And when you multiply every expectation you have by 10, you will probably be safe. If it doesn't take 10 times more than anticipated, great, but it's better to be pleasantly surprised than greatly disappointed, right? So if we start thinking about in 10x rules, if we start thinking about making the most of the time that we have, we're going to be surprised. Maybe not right away, like you're going to see results immediately, but over time, again, you're going to see success because of persistence, because you're putting action towards your goals. And, you're going to start 10xing the things that you do because you know that you're going to get to that goal and beyond. You have to remember that when you're talking to people, your customers are not your potential customers. They're not as enthusiastic about this stuff as you are. They don't understand it. They don't see the value in it yet. And so, it's because they don't know it yet. So it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with you or that you're doing anything wrong. It's just they're not ready yet. They don't understand it. So be persistent. It's not about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. You're going to tackle your project with a 10x rule like your life depends on it. If somebody told you you had to hit Success Club or your kids would not eat, you would hit Success Club, right? I mean, maybe that sounds drastic, but it's true. When it matters enough, you will push to the limit. So pretend that you are being recorded as a model by which your kids and your grandkids are going to see how to succeed in life. Pretend that whatever you're doing right now is what is going to be played back for your kids. This is what success is. This is how you succeed in life. Does that change your perspective? I know it changes mine. Like when they see me work hard, but, and how I'm allotting my time, how are they going to treat their families? How are they going to treat their business? How are they going to treat other people? And how are they going to make the most of their time? They see what you're doing. So model what you want them to do. So approach every situation with an in it to win it, whatever it takes mindset. Okay? Think about it. If this is the only way that you could provide for your family, are you in it to win it? Are you going to do the maximum effort that it takes? Success does not just happen. The harder you work, the luckier you get. There is no such thing as luck. There's hard work. And so, you just have to realize that the more action steps that you take, then the more success you're going to see. And a lot of times we are just not thinking high enough, and we're not, putting enough action towards our goals. So make sure your goal matters. Write it down. Put it somewhere where you see it every day. Make it part of your affirmations and visualizations for the day. Make sure your goal matters to you. Number 2, whatever action steps you believe are necessary to reach that goal, 10x it. Just right off the bat, decide that you're going to work harder, that you're going to talk to more people in the same amount of time, that you're going to get efficient, and you're going to take the notifications off, and you're going to make this priority. Number 3, you're going to work like this is a model for your kids and your grandkids. Your life is showing them what success is. So work hard, get the stuff done, eat your frog during the beginning parts of your day, and get that stuff done and out of the way so that you can do the rest of the things that you want to with your family or with your other job or with your household. But this business matters. We are in the business of changing lives, so it matters what you do. So guys, get out there, 10x your business. We have some big goals for the month. We're going to be hitting Success Club. We have people that are going to be covering their Shakeology. We have people that are going to go Emerald. We have people that are going to go and rank advance and add more coaches to their teams. This is the month. It's going to happen. So the only way it's going to happen is to put those action steps to it and be persistent. Never, ever, ever give up. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a great night.